All right, Tina,
Hey.
let's talk legislative work.
Ooh, my favorite.
Is it?
It is.
I know you totally geek out on this stuff.
I do.
I love it. So let's talk a little bit about, I know you've done a lot of work in New Mexico. Just start at the start and walk us through that journey.
So how I got started on the legislative side of it is when I opened Montessori 1, we kept getting compared to traditional childcare.
Yeah.
I couldn't have knives in the classroom. We couldn't have real glass in the classroom. And they didn't understand it. So it took me 2 to 3 years working with, and every time they come for a visit, it's a different person. And so after the 4th or 5th time I did that, where I'm explaining to them why we're different because we're Montessori, they would just write a note in my file that they're allowed to have knives from this company in the classroom. Or they're allowed to have real glass because of,
Sure.
So we had a list in my file.
You had the custom,
what I'm allowed
the Tina
to
list.
do. Yes.
Tina can have knives.
And so eventually I wrote a letter to the director and I said, being a Montessori being Montessori in New Mexico is hard as it is. We don't have teachers that we can easily find in our classroom. They need to be AMI certified, and that's difficult. And so when I do get my teachers, I want to make sure I'm doing everything to make them happy and make sure that they're able to do their job without fear.
Sure.
And so, I invited her. I said, please just come and visit and see what it is that we're doing. And then at the end of it, if you find...
And I'm sorry, she was a congresswoman? Or?
No, she was a director of ECCD, which is Early Childhood Education and Care Department.
Got it.
Which is, I think it's children, youth services in most of the states. So she came and I walked her. She sat in a classroom for an hour, observed, and she walked out totally amazed. She's like, there are 24 children in that classroom and it's quiet. How is that
I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was an option.
I was like, well, I have this key that I turn. I was like, but it's, I said, because it's the teachers that are trained to work with children.
Yeah.
We keep them engaged. We keep them excited. We keep them moving. And if we take away things that you're asking us to take away, we lose our effectiveness.
Okay.
And so, fast forward to 2025.
Yeah.
Our governor had this brilliant idea, and I was very excited. She decided that New Mexico was going to become the first universal child care state.
Love it.
I thought so too. Yeah. I was like, brilliant. Except when the rules and regulations started coming.
Sure.
Guess what's happening? Montessori is not at the table at all. So then again, I'm on the phone and I'm writing and I said, this is wonderful, but I need to be at the table when you're figuring out the regulations.
Okay.
Because we are not represented currently.
So you kind of started your, governmental journey, I'll call it, just reaching out to the director of the ECC because you had these randos from there coming up.
They don't know what they're looking at, right? They're just checking off boxes.
And you said, hey, I've got to go to the head here, right? Yeah. And the funny thing, I feel like, the director of the ECC is probably not having a lot of Tinas, a lot of schools reaching out and saying, hey, come visit.
Come see.
Yeah. So, which is interesting because I would imagine it's similar elsewhere where people, sometimes you just need to ask.
Yeah.
Like just ask. So she showed up and when, I didn't catch, when was that?
This was around 2010,
okay,
2011.
So that was a while
a while back.
And then about a year and a half ago, is when everything with the state and universal child care started hitting. And that's when you were looking at it saying, hey, we're going to get left out if I don't do something.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm part of Montessori Network of New Mexico. And so we have an advocacy group. And so our advocacy group, which I'm part of, we just decided we're going to ask them to be at the table. And
Who did you ask?
the secretary of ECCD, she reports directly to the governor.
Okay.
And so she's like, she called me back and she said, I'm trying to understand what it is that is different because she's new. She doesn't know.
Yeah.
And so I explained, I said, we are not a traditional childcare or a daycare. We're an actual school where learning happens, right? As soon as you get them, they're learning. And it's a very robust curriculum. But in order for us, because being an only AMI recognized school in Albuquerque, I was still a 2-star out of the 5-star quality rating system
What
that
does
they
that
have.
mean?
So each state has a quality rating system.
Okay.
2 being the lowest.
Got it.
Quality. You're just barely, you're babysitting, you're barely doing your job.
Yeah.
You're doing the bare minimum. To 5 stars, you're an exemplary school. Being AMI, I was still 5, or I was 2-star.
Okay.
And I said, first of all,
I've been there. That's not a 2-star. Like that. My brain
just because
is.
it's mine.
My
I'm like,
brain is like jumbled
it's
right
a
now.
10-star school,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'll take a 5.
Sure.
But I said, in the reimbursement that the state would be giving, I'd be getting a 2-star reimbursement.
Okay.
Instead of the 5-star reimbursement. And the math just didn't add up because our teachers are higher salaried than traditional childcare. Our associates in the classroom are higher salary than. So and plus we have like a gardener, we have Orton Gillingham, like speech therapist, we have Spanish teacher, we have dance and gymnastics. All of these programs cost money.
Sure.
They didn't recognize that.
Okay.
And so when they started discussing, they actually asked me to be part of the bill creation.
Okay.
So
they being
the secretary of ECCD.
Okay.
Yeah. And she said, if you're at the table, we're drafting this bill, and I would love to get your perspective on this. And then I went to the first meeting. And again, it was focused on childcare, where they're talking about, well, here's your budget where you only have 1 teacher and 1 assistant in the classroom, and then maybe 3 admin staff. And so your rent, so they're throwing in numbers that didn't really make sense.
Yeah.
And so fast forward that, I finally got them to understand that Montessori programs are much, much more than just that. Then I went to the star system. I was like, so I am 2-star. She was shocked that I was still a 2-star. She goes, why aren't you a 5-star? I said, because your requirements for 5-star are all childcare focused.
Yeah.
I am not that. So I choose not to play that game.
Yeah.
And she said, so can you send me your Montessori curriculum and how it translates to state requirements?
Okay.
So I did that.
Yeah.
We did a crosswalk and I sent it off, and I got a call the next week and said, if you have AMI accreditation or AMS accreditation, your schools are automatically 5-star recognized.
Okay.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, giant. So now we have 33 schools in New Mexico. Only a handful are AMI or AMS recognized. And so the advocacy group now is working with the rest of the schools to make sure we can get them up to the 5-star level.
Yeah. Would that be just through getting AMI or AMS recognized?
Yep.
Okay.
But in order to do that, we need teacher training, and we need their funding for the teacher training and bring a trainer. So there's a lot that still needs to happen.
Sure.
But it's happening.
Yeah. So was the biggest piece of the change getting that recognized as then a 5-star school, because so that you don't have to play essentially childcare games. You're playing a different thing over here, right?
Now I'm
Now,
in my own class.
Yeah.
Montessori is in its own class.
Yeah.
And childcare's here.
Yeah.
We're here.
Which makes total sense.
As it should be.
I mean, Montessori is not childcare.
No.
I mean, it couldn't be further. But like, that's cool. So, I mean, so you got started literally just by reaching out to the ECC, saying, "Hey, we got to talk." You became known, and then as these things were happening, you've got doors now that you can go through.
Now I can go through any door.
Sure.
We did the Washington, D.C. We met our senators and Congress people there. But it wouldn't have happened, I think, if the governor hadn't said, we're going to make New Mexico universal childcare.
Yeah.
Suddenly everybody's paying attention.
Sure.
And I'm paying attention because up until then, I'd never taken a penny of state or federal money. It was all private pay.
Yeah.
So suddenly now I'm going to have to play this game.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that the rules were conducive to us playing in it.
So many questions. One, was state funding not available prior to that?
It was.
It was, okay.
But it's for childcare. Again, you have to, use their requirements.
Yeah. So it was just too onerous. Didn't make sense to go.
Yeah, and then we would have had to compromise our Montessori principles all way too much. Yeah. I might as well just say Tina Academy.
Sure.
And not have Montessori in it.
Yeah.
And I'd probably end up making
Tina's
more.
School of Kid Care.
Kid Care, yeah. Something. And we would...
Love to call them kids, not children.
Children.
Isn't a kid a goat or something?
It is.
Yeah, there you go.
That's one thing. If I can get everyone to stop using the word kid.
Yeah.
And just say children.
Yeah.
They deserve that respect.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Although I did see, I saw a sign on the highway that said something about kids, and it had a picture of a goat, and I was like,
"Yeah,
that person knows Tina Patel. They recognize it. That's a goat." So, do you think because of this legislation, because there's always, even with all of the best of intentions, there's always unintended consequences to anything, right? So your governor says, "Hey, universal child care." Do you think that had you not had the connections and done the advocacy work here, would that have made it harder on the back end because now there's monies going towards other things that can't go your way? Or
I think the state of New Mexico did something really, really brilliant about 10 years ago.
Okay.
They took the oil money that we get and they started a land grant and a trust fund. And that grew from $3 million to now $33 billion. Put that in context in 10 years.
Yeah, that's not insignificant growth.
Every year, any excess money went into that. So anything over $50 a barrel goes into that.
Interesting.
Something like that. I mean, don't quote me on that, but something similar to that.
So $50 a barrel. No.
$50 a barrel.
Exactly that.
But and it's that money that they're now using to fund the universal child care.
Okay.
Unintended consequence was I was very excited because now I could open up Montessori 1 to more diverse community, right?
Yeah.
Funding, they didn't speak with the business owners who are actually running the business to say, hey, what are your actual costs?
Got it.
Because one teacher and an assistant in the classroom and 3 administrators, no.
Sure.
It's a lot more than that.
Yeah. To do Montessori properly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What would you say, what are the things that you learned in all of these in this whole process?
Ask and you shall get.
Yeah.
I think people are wanting to listen to what you're struggling with. I really do. I think they're interested, especially legislators.
Yeah.
I've been surprised. I've had them call me, invite me to events. Governor and I are very close now. She's invited me to some table, discussions where she thought that conversation was going to be useful. So things like that, I think once you start, you just have to start.
Yeah.
And, it seems like this big bad beast that's politics.
Yeah.
But when you bring it down to your state level,
Yeah.
I think it's much more manageable.
Yeah, state and local, it's interesting. The so many of the real tangible impacts are literally down at the local level.
Yes.
State
Start
is
with your mayor
yeah.
or council person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't ECCD, the child welfare department.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah. No, I love that observation. And how many, I mean, you just got back from the AMS and AMI conferences. Are there a lot of administrators, school owners that are out there having these conversations? Is that a common thing?
No, but there is a group called MPPI.
Okay.
Montessori Public Policy Initiatives.
All right.
And they are working with different states to get them to start looking at regulations and making them more Montessori friendly.
Yeah.
So,
are you working with them at all, or just
yes,
just friendly and respectful?
Not directly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So. Yeah. What would you any recommendations that you would say for anybody that's in another state that's trying to kind of get Montessori on the radar in
I think
a more tangible way?
The Family and Child Care Division is probably the best. And let them know which regulations don't work for you. You can't just say these all don't. You can't, that cannot be blanket. I had to go through and, identify this, and this. And like I said, they started making a list eventually for me.
Sure.
Allow Tina to do this. Tina School can do this. This is okay if Montessori one does this. And then eventually they started understanding that we are different.
Yeah. Well, you got to pick and choose your battles too, because if everything's a problem, it's like, okay,
yeah,
everything's a problem. I get you.
Everything's a problem.
I've dealt with a lot of people like you.
But and not to get scared with one no.
Yeah.
I think that's persistence, being a pain in their butt.
Yeah,
does pay off.
Well, it's in my limited experience, because my family was part of some legislation in the state of Tennessee around prosthetic legs. And what insurance companies are required. And there were several no's, lots of no's before it became a yes.
One yes.
All you need is the one yes, and then it's yes. The yeses go forward.
Yes.
The no is just try again.
We'll come back.
Yeah. And it's a really important part, because nobody's told me this, but my gut is like, it's always going to start with a no. Because they want to see who's going to come back.
Because they don't understand.
Well, they don't understand. They want to see who's going to come back.
Yep.
Like, if you're really passionate about it, it's like as awful of a similarity as this is. There's, health insurance, which is its own whole other world.
Ooh, I'd love to battle that.
I would love to see you battle that.
I'd love to go in with Juby and say...
Okay, we got a whole nother conversation to have here. You and Jubilee put together, that's like
powerhouse.
That is a powerhouse team right there.
How old is she?
She is 8 now.
8.
Yeah, she's about to turn 9.
Perfect.
But I completely lost my track. No, with healthcare.
Yes.
Yeah, with healthcare, as sad and nefarious as this is, there's health insurance companies that have the policy of say no twice before you say yes. Because it'll just, some people. It's
easier that way.
It's easier that way, and a lot of people will just fold and stop knocking on the door.
So ones that keep trying will rise to the top, and those will get attention.
Yeah.
That really is how it works.
Yeah. Well, and this is literal proof of that, because after this journey now, what is the actual, what is the tangible benefit for that, and what does that mean for your students, for your school?
I think we have a lot more variety of children and families, most definitely, which makes me happy, because Montessori is also thought of as it's the rich people's school.
Yeah.
It's for everyone.
Yeah.
And so we want to be able to do that. My dream would be for all of New Mexico schools to become Montessori schools.
Mhm.
I think our state would do wonders.
Yeah.
And I've already talked to a couple of senators who are like, intriguing.
Yeah.
And so I've planted this seed. There's a lot more work to be done. Excuse me. A lot more work to be done, but I think I know. I don't know how many years I have left, but
Got a
somebody
lot.
will take over.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, it's interesting. I think a lot of the better educational opportunities, unfortunately, are, capped because of costs. And to be able to get in, a lot of times the children that are able to or are in families that can afford such things, often, you know, those children are critical. They're going to have a lot of other opportunities as well.
Absolutely.
And that early childhood part and, getting out of drop off childcare, which, it's beautiful. If you need that, that's fine. That's
Mhm.
great. But like getting children into a place where they can actually grow in those,
And be joyful
0 to 5.
learners. And imagine a teacher seeing that fruit of their work.
Yeah.
Children are joyful, they're learning, they're moving forward. We would have every person wanting to become a teacher.
Yeah.
Because right now, there's, I think, in Albuquerque public schools, 70% are reporting burnout.
Sure.
That's a scary number.
Yeah.
And so, it's now somebody's identified that.
Mhm.
But now what?
Yeah.
That's where I want to go in.
It's interesting too, because with children, like I love kiddos. I help out. My wife and I volunteer once a month at our church, and we're with the 4 and 5-year-olds, which is just a hoot.
Fun.
I love that age
Fun age.
because they're all like their language is getting there, and their little personalities are booming. Like all the little dudes want to wrestle, and I love poking the bear. Like I love
You're
kind
one
of
of
stirring them
those
up.
parents.
Yeah, I am one of those parents. It's fun. But we had there was like a mix up with the check-in, and my wife and I, we usually do that together, and they do a 7-to-1 ratio. So there's 2 adults and one mature one, and then me.
Mhm.
My wife's the mature one. But we have us and 14 kids, and it's no big deal. Well, the other day, like 2 weeks ago, another volunteer accidentally checked into our class. So it allowed them to check in 21 kids. We didn't have 21 kids, thank God. But we had 17, I think it was 17 or 18. And the difference in me being able to interact with a child, see a child, care for that, like literally down to knowing all of their names, being able to have actual one-to-one interaction. The difference in a 1-to-7 ratio and like a 1-to-8, 1-to-9
Mhm.
ratio is bonkers.
Yes.
I don't know what happened at that point, but
Well, now it's what, 1-to-15?
yeah, it's just nuts.
Yeah.
You can't it's just nuts.
Well, in Montessori, we like higher ratio.
Yeah.
Because children are already independent, they're
Yeah.
problem solvers, and Dr. Montessori believed that, more adults
Mhm.
meant more dependency.
Yeah.
And so, but you have to set up the right environment and
Yeah,
right expectations and have the right
Yeah, if you don't have a
pedagogy.
prepared environment,
You
you're
have
not
to,
yeah.
yes. And
You got-
a prepared adult
Yeah.
who
absolutely.
knows what to do, right?
Yeah.
Without the prepared adult, you have 70% stressed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Any pitfalls that you've run into with the legislative work that you've done, and things you wish you'd done different, or?
well, there are some people have said, Angela is also my partner in this advocacy work. We're 2 peas in a pod, and we've been told we are a bit too aggressive by a Montessorian, but we get results. So I
Yeah, do you
take that
receive
as
that or do you reject that?
I kind of take it at its value.
Okay. Yeah.
It is who I am.
Noted.
It is my personality,
Yeah.
so spot on.
Yeah.
Um, The pitfalls that I see is the lack of funding for the teacher preparation program.
Okay.
And I think if we have all of these schools wanting to become AMI, AMS, and there's shortage of Montessori trained teachers, what good does that do?
Would you have, knowing that, would you have tried to kind of nuance or push the legislative
Yes,
session a
we
little
were
different?
just 6 months short when we went to DC. They were like, oh, we just allocated all our money. Had we known that a little bit earlier, we could have gone straight. So now we wasted a year. So we'll go next year, obviously. But it's a year wasted.
Well, but if others can build upon what you learned, and then push that in their states, and we all build on each other.
Wouldn't that be great if every state in the United States?
Be a beautiful
thing. But it took New Mexico 10, 11 years.
Yeah. If somebody wants to pick your brain on this, how do they get a hold of you?
Tina.Patel at myedna.net.
Okay. And just shoot you a note, and happy to jump
me an
on
email and I'll
Zoom call.
reply. Yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for all the work that you've done in New Mexico.
Thank you.
I know you get some accolades for that, but it really is a beautiful thing. It's so important.
I love it. I love what I do. So
yeah, I can tell.
It's not work.
That's awesome. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.